Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is Project Bloggerana with you today, guys. And after losing 4-0 against Atletico Madrid away, Football Club Barcelona had a chance to bounce back and beat Girona. If we were to win this game, we would have moved to the first place in the league. As you can see, 3 points would have meant that Barcelona would have been on 61 points and we would be first in the league, overtaking Real Madrid. But instead, as you can see, Barcelona did lose the game against Girona 2-1. Overall, it was very poor performance from the team, and today I want to discuss my overall thoughts on the game and just tell you some of my not only thoughts but also impressions and some things I noticed throughout this game. So I do think first thing we can do is look at the lineup. From Barcelona's point of view, we saw Juan Garcia in goal, two centre backs, Cubarsí and Eric Garcia. It made a lot of sense. Right back was Jules Koundé. Despite him being out of form, he's probably the best right back to start. You could argue that you could have moved Eric Garcia to right back and play Araujo or even go attacking and play João Cancelo, but it did not happen. And I don't have any problems with Jules Koundé starting. So the backline was decent. And I actually like the idea of starting Gerard Martin against Girona, giving Alejandro Balde at least some rest, so decision made sense. And also, Balde has been out of form in my opinion. He hasn't performed at his best, so that decision did make sense to me. And then moving to midfield, it is hyper-attacking midfield, with Frankie de Jong being more of a holding midfielder, but roaming around and carrying the ball everywhere. Then we had Fermin Lopez, very inefficient game, but overall he just did what Fermin Lopez does. Wasn't as involved in build-up as you would like to see, but you expect him to be this goal assist magnet, and today he did not deliver. And then finally, Dani Olmo was the third midfielder. I did think he had a decent game. His link-up wasn't bad. He was relatively noticeable throughout the 90 minutes, but still, it wasn't the best game from him. Then in the attack, we had Lamine Yamal having an alright game. He didn't miss two decent chances. One was roughly in 30th to 40th minute when he tried to chip the goalkeeper and he failed, and also he missed the penalty in additional time. So when it comes down to goal scoring, he did have poor performance because he missed relatively easy chances, but overall his dribbling and his creativity again was very good. Then Rafinha coming back from an injury, good performance. Just Rafinha being Rafinha, created chances, had decent shots, pressed very hard, and was overall aggressive. So it was good performance from Rafinha, and probably Hansi Flick will be the happiest to see him return. And then finally, the last decision that I have left to discuss, it is Ferran Torres. I mean, I don't understand why he is playing games. Like, I mean, okay, Robert Lewandowski is 37 years of age. Robert Lewandowski probably will leave Barcelona at the end of the season, but still, the amount of games that Ferran Torres has played is genuinely ridiculous. Like, if you look at Ferran Torres, this season he has played 17 games in La Liga as a starter and 22 games overall. It just doesn't make any sense. And today also, why did he play 73 minutes? He did not do anything. Like, Ferran Torres is genuinely terrible footballer, and I do hope that we get rid of him at some point because there are many better options out there. I do think a lot of culés that don't watch football don't like the prospect of signing Vlahovic, and I do understand the rationale behind it. If you pay him big wages, then it does not make sense, but Vlahovic as a striker is a much better footballer than Ferran Torres will ever be, because you have to understand, Ferran Torres originally was a skinny right midfielder at Valencia, and his biggest strength was his finesse and his agility and the way he could run and glide past people. But now he has become a lot more bulky, stocky, bigger, hence he's less agile and slower, so he has declined and he's trying to become this striker, but he's just not good enough. He takes 5 business days to get his shots off. Whenever he does get them off, a lot of the times he misses easy chances, so he's extremely unreliable. And in a game like this, it genuinely showed where we should have started with Robert Lewandowski. So overall, my thoughts on lineup. I do think like Ferran shouldn't have started, as he should never play. Maybe he can come on as a substitute for Robert Lewandowski throughout 90 minutes, but today was not his best performance, definitely. Then moving on, another decision I did not like. You could have easily played Frankie de Jong together with Bernal in midfield, and then maybe rest Dani Olmo or Fermin. I probably would have started with Frankie, Bernal, and Dani Olmo moved further up the pitch, and Robert Lewandowski here. But Flick decided to go against it, so be it. And overall, when we look at the game, I do think first half was very decent from Barcelona. And that game reminded a lot of the game that we played against Real Sociedad, where we created a lot of chances, but we could not capitalize. Rafinha had a good chance. I think he shot from here somewhere. Yes. Then Lamine Yamal had easy chance here, which he missed. As you can see, good XG. Lamine Yamal also missed a penalty here, hit the post. Eric Garcia hit the crossbar. Then also we had Ferran Torres, of course, missing a decent chance. And then Fermin, I remember that shot where he just took a finesse shot. So overall, we had good chances in the first half, but we could not score goals. And to me, it was relatively clear that if we keep going like this, we will lose the game. And it did happen because the main issue with Barcelona is not the fact that we concede chances and we play this high line, because people like simple answer. And the simple answer is that high line is deadly, we concede a lot of chances, so let's drop back a bit and it will sort out problems. Is it a solution? No, because Hansi Flick has a system he believes in, and the main problem is teams pressing, because it is so unorganized at times. You have Frankie de Jong running around everywhere like a headless chicken without any positional sense. And when you start Dani Olmo together with Fermin and Frankie in midfield, you will have three players that press very high but also don't get back as quickly as they should. So already there are problems there. Then you have Ferran Torres, who supposedly is this great player that presses the ball, largely inefficient. Lamine Yamal, I don't expect from him 90 minutes of ruthless pressing, but still, he is not a player that will press very well. Left back and right back, Jules Koundé, Gerard Martin, decently big fullbacks that are defensively capable, but pressing is not their biggest strength. So when you combine these factors, you can quickly see that issue is not the high line, but rather the pressing structure. And it worked so well last season because players were committed, players pressed hard, aggressively, and they believed in the idea. But this season, it seems as though the players have burned out and the ideas are not working anymore. Solutions, to me, it's simple. You have to rotate more. You have to play players like João Cancelo more. You have to play players like Marc Bernal more. You have to play players like Rooney Bargi more. And if you do it, you give rest to Lamine Yamal, let's say against Levante next game. You give rest to Frankie de Jong. You rest Dani Olmo. You maybe bench Kubarsi for Araujo. So you bench these players, you give them rest, and then they are fresh and they can capitalize and execute the ideas that Hansi Flick has in store. But right now, it just isn't working. And overall, I would say the first half was good. Of course, we did concede XG of 1, and they did have two big chances, but overall, I would rate first half with a plus sign. But then the second half was just terrible. We did keep the ball, but the team seemed tired, um, disoriented, just bad performance from Barcelona, and we did concede a lot of chances, and they did score two goals. The first goal was relatively very easy. The second goal was a good shot. Yes, I can talk about referees, but I don't see any point in talking about them because we all know that the league is made so that Real Madrid win. Historically, it has been always about power and Franco's era, and always Real Madrid is this royal team that has to win and they only care about winning. So the referees are also instructed to make decisions in their favor, which is understandable. And if you are a team like Atletico and Barcelona, you have to not only be one step better than your opponent, but two steps, because it is not enough to be good enough to beat a team with result 2-1. Because with referees, a victory that should be Barcelona's in result 2-1, you can always expect some shady penalty given to opposing team, or some shady goal not given, or VAR checks that last 8 minutes and Kubarsi's goal gets disallowed for some weird reason. But when it goes the other way, where Kunde is clearly fouled, the VAR does not even look at it, make it make sense. To me, it is a psyop, and we are made to not question anything and keep quiet. I want to talk about it right now and call it out, because if we don't call it out, it will just stay like this. And let's be honest, no one really cares about it. We will talk about it for 3 to 5 days and then everybody will forget it. We have to talk about it because the corruption is real, and the only way we can be better and actually win something is by being not only one step better but two steps better than the opponents. Of course, it is very difficult, but when you win something, it is twice as rewarding. So it is a double-edged sword. As we saw last season, it was incredible, and it was a beautiful feeling to finally beat Real Madrid. And as we remember, Chouameni playing goalkeeper. The penalty was not given against Real Madrid last season, but still we did manage to win that game. And also Fermin's goal got disallowed for a very contradictory reason. If you don't give handball to Chouameni, you don't give handball there. But as you know, referees had to find it, and after making the decision, they had to say "menos mal," which means thank goodness, thanks God. So what can you do about this corruption? It is what it is, but I'm not here to excuse this performance and refereeing and just give excuses to these players. No, what this rant was about was just to show you that corruption is real and unfortunately we have to accept it. And I don't want players to think this way because it is clear that the league is corrupt, but the players have to switch on mentally. It shouldn't be this victim card that decisions go against us. It's simply a reality. It has to be a motivating factor that despite the fact that these decisions go against us, we will still fight and win the league. That would be the best case scenario. And now talking about the details why we did lose the game. As I said, first things first, it was the pressing, it was largely inefficient, and secondly, it was the lineup that Hansi Flick got wrong. I don't understand the decision to start Ferran Torres. And also, what confuses me is the fact that Rooney Bargi came on this game. So I will tell you his story, right? He plays very well whenever he gets opportunity. He starts against Real Betis, scores, gives assists, has brilliant game. Then he gets benched. He does not play. What do you do with him? Maybe you start him every once in a while against poor team and give Lamine Yamal a rest? No, no, you don't do it. You just play Lamine Yamal every single game, no matter if he plays well, if he's tired, if he's injured, you play him. You don't give chance to Rooney Bargi. And now, when everything's going bad, team's morale is down, nothing's going our way, what do? You bring on a kid probably low on confidence because whenever he plays well he just gets dropped. You just put him in a tough game, out of position, and logically he does not look sharp, he does not look fit, he looks as though he has lost his confidence, and it is largely down to Flick. So for me, Flick is a great coach, but this treatment of Rooney I just don't understand. And for me, if you make substitution that early, it should have been Lewandowski 10 minutes earlier and move maybe Ferran in this area to that area. Or even if you have to bring on someone, bring on João Cancelo because he's right footed, he can play on that side. But no, you just bring on Rooney and you just show what. I don't understand this decision from Hansi Flick, so these subs don't make sense whatsoever. So for me, the game was lost also in the lineup and in substitutions. So it is what it is. So overall, this was my rant about the game. Overall, Not much to say. Defeats will happen, but the frustrating part is that this season just everything seems to be going against us. Real Madrid, every game they get a penalty, they win. Whenever they play away, there is no atmosphere. Whenever you look like when Real Madrid played, let's say against Villarreal, absolutely zero atmosphere, nothing happening. When Barcelona goes to Girona or to Real Sociedad, fans are singing, cheering, like no other game. Every single decision gets celebrated. The fans are screaming. I just don't understand why it can't be consistent throughout every single game. Because whenever Real Madrid plays away, nothing. Easy. Simple. Fans are just there to watch, not support. But when teams play at home against Barcelona, oh boy, then fans are behind every decision, and logically it motivates the opposition. So for me, it is another factor. And when you combine the refereeing decisions, the fact that everything seems to go against us, the fact that Flick is slowly losing his dressing room and does not make necessary substitutions and rotations, and also the fact that teams just prioritize for some weird reason playing against Barcelona and not Real Madrid, I do think it is inevitable that Real Madrid will win the 2025-26 La Liga's title, unfortunately. That's everything I can say about today's game, and those were my overall thoughts. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thank you guys. It was Project Blogger with you today, guys. Vamos, Visca Barça. Bye.